Hey, welcome to the show. My name is Scott,
Hey guys, I'm Ariane.
and this is the Backpacker TV live show where we talk about everything about backpacking for new people, and we teach you the basics of what you need to know when you're going out backpacking. So, welcome to the show. Today, we are going to talk about the top 10 suggestions we have for new backpackers. It makes no difference whether you're going out on a weekend trip or you're planning a 5-day trip. You're going to go into the Grand Canyon, or you're actually going to attempt a long distance backpacking trip on the Appalachian Trail or Pacific Crest Trail. It's our top 10 suggestions on what to do or what you need to know before that. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, and then we have kind of a really cool announcement to make during the show. We are going to be taking our show on the road, where it actually really should be all the time.
We're working on
but we are actually going to be on the Appalachian Trail on February 2nd. So mark that down on your calendar. That will be
Do not miss that show.
Do not miss that show. Yeah. That will be a extremely educational show. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to have a lot of people there with us. So So let's get started with the show, and here's the Backpacker TV. Okay, guys, we're back. So let's get into it. What are some of our top 10 suggestions that we are going to let people know about?
Well, number one, plan ahead and prepare.
Yeah.
That is like our go-to suggestion. Plan ahead and prepare. It's actually one of the 7 principles. It is the first principle of leave no trace. So it goes in conjunction with learn your leave no trace principles as well. But plan ahead and prepare, we cannot specify enough to you. That is all encompassing. Right. It is from know where you're going to go, know how long you're going out there, know the regulations, understand a general sense of the weather. Yep. Don't really look at the weather, but know where you're going, know what restrictions you are, know your route, know your exit points. Just know what you're doing and where you're going and what you need to know when you're out there, because a lot of places have a lot of things. If you just go to their website, you can learn a lot of things that can steer you away from problem areas, or can steer you away from any situational hazards that you might occur.
Yeah, there's a reason why plan and prepare is the first principle in leave no trace, but that's the most under researched thing. So when we teach backpacking boot camp, and when we do trail magic on the Appalachian Trail every year, you would think that if you're going to hike over 2,000 miles through 13 states and spend 5.5 months out in the wilderness, you would have done some planning and preparing. But we get things. The Appalachian Trail is an international trail, by the way, right? Yeah. So you get a lot of people from, the UK. You get a lot of people we've had people from Israel. We've had people from Ireland, right? Come up to our table, and they are under the impression that Georgia is flat.
It's not.
It's flat down south, but up in the mountains where the Appalachian Trail starts, it's all mountains. Yeah. And they're not easy mountains either, right? So, 4,000 feet, that you're climbing up. So we always say plan and prepare, because planning and preparing for you is going to be your key to having a successful hike. And what does that mean? Terrain, weather, where are you going to go? How long are you going to be out there? Is there going to be water involved? Are there going to be campsites involved? Where logistically are you going to be hiking, so you can better know what to prepare for, right?
Park regulations, wilderness regulations, they change all the time. And you think they wouldn't, but they do, because Georgia has just actually gone to several areas now where you actually have to carry a beer canister with you, where you didn't previously have to. Right. So there's things changing all the time and altering all the time because of circumstances. So you need to really just do research. Now, you have different kind of people. Plan ahead and prepare can kind of get scary sometimes, because I'm the kind of person who just reacts. I just want to go do, I just want to go play. And Then you have the over preparers, where they research everything.
They pack for the what if.
Well, and they're not allowing the experience to kind of lead them in a sense. So there's a fine balance between preparing too much for your trip and not preparing at all for your trip. So, you know yourself.
Which kind of leads into the number 2, and that is, for the love of God, learn how to hang a food bag. Okay, so learn how to hang a bear bag, food bag, bear bag, however you want to call it. You're gonna have to hang your food off of a limb, and it's not easy to do.
That's our number 6.
Well, we're number 2.
We're jumping from 1 to 6.
Because plan and preparing, like you plan your hike, you prepare for your hike, and then what happens? You get to a campsite, and where are you going to put your food, right? And especially in Georgia, and I guess the reason I'm bringing that up now is because in Georgia we have bears, we have black bears, and so I am always surprised at the number of people that have a big can of bear spray on their belt, right? But they don't know how to hang their food bag.
Right. So I guess they're going to sleep with their food and then just ward off the bear with the spray.
The thing is with the bear canister or the bear spray, I'll just say this, is that, which is another one of our suggestions that we're going to have.
Oh, you're jumping ship all over the place.
No, but I'm saying, like, if you how many, so you buy a can of bear spray, right? And you put it on your hip belt and you're like, oh man, I'm going to get that bear if it comes to me. Well, there's a couple things to consider. If a bear is running at you at full speed, right? Are you upwind or downwind? So if you're upwind, that bear spray is going to come and hit you in the face. So, and the other thing too is that you better be a pretty good shot. Now, I would say that bear spray in the southeast is, you probably don't need it. Okay, out in the west, absolutely you would need it because you have other types of bear to contend with. But for the most part, that's not going to work. So know how to hang your food bag. Hanging your food bag and keeping all your food out of your tent and away from your area, you won't have to carry bear spray. You will, you'll just know it. But it takes practice. So practice that. It takes a lot of practice to take, a rock in a bag and throw it over a tree limb and hang your food. It's
there's different
easy
methods
to do.
But it goes beyond that. Since we're now on number 6, it goes beyond that. You're not just contending with bear or wherever you are. You're dealing with rodents. You're dealing with mice. You're dealing with vermin. All sorts of things, and they are going to actually do more damage to your gear than bears are.
I've catapulted more mice off my sleeping bag.
Just flip.
Yeah.
So you got other things to contend with. So hanging your food properly, or storing your food properly. Again, knowing where you're going to go and knowing what the regulations are for that. That is going to aid in, one, keeping all of your expensive gear without holes, and it allows you to have food for your entire trip, because I have lost all my
food at that campsite for the next person.
It's protective of the animals. Okay, so let's jump back to number 2.
Okay.
Number 2, fit your pack to your torso. It is so important that you have a pack that actually fits your body frame. And this is a subject matter that you're extremely passionate about. So go for it.
Yeah, please do not borrow Uncle Bob's backpack. Especially if he is 6'3" and you are a 5'4" female. Uncle Bob's old backpack is not going to fit you, and you're going to have a miserable time out in the backcountry. So along with when you go to get your gear or buy your gear or even rent your gear or even borrow your gear, at least make sure that the gear that you're going to borrow is going to fit you. So it would be like if I wanted to go hiking and I went into Ariane's closet and put her boots on, right? Her boots aren't going to fit me, right?
Yeah.
And so I can't expect to not have blisters. I can't expect that that's going to feel really good when it's like 2 sizes smaller than my foot, right? Yeah. But I see a lot of people putting on backpacks that don't fit.
Yeah.
So the most important thing is that you want to have a good time out there, even if you don't like backpacking, or even if you're like, I'm not doing this ever again. At least you want to give yourself a better than average chance to have a good time, and that goes with things that fit you.
Yeah.
And your backpack's one of them. So please make sure, whatever you do, whatever you borrow it, whatever, make sure it fits. And that is an easy step to take. Just go to your local outfitters. They all have backpack measuring devices over there. So measure your torso and make sure that the backpack you are putting, most backpacks come in extra small, small, medium, large, and extra large. However, a lot of the newer backpacks now you can
adjust. And now, Tania, you said you don't have an adjustable back on yours, and it's a little long for you. And it's so important. Don't assume that just because you're a size small, or you're a smaller statured person, or you have big hips, don't assume that you're a certain size based on that. It isn't about your sizing, it's about the length of your torso and how long that measures. And that is so key to understand, because if you have an ill-fitting pack, you are going to pay for it, and you're
and it drags.
You're going to feel it. So that is number 2. Number 3, learn how to pack it. Learn how to pack your pack.
Right. So for new people that are just starting out, packing your pack is as important as what's in your pack. And I see this often a lot on the trail, is that people have shoved their gear in their pack, but there's an actual methodical way to pack your pack. And so you want your pack to be balanced, and you don't without getting into like this engineering technical stuff, is that backpacks are made today to fit all of the weight, the bulk of the weight, very close behind your back, because that's where your water platter usually goes. Your water platypus is usually in your backpack, and so they've engineered that so they want the weight really in the center of your back. And if all your heavy weight is in the bottom or on top, your pack is going to lean
way behind you.
Yeah, it's going to lean like this, or it's going to lean like that off your back, and which really sucks when you're climbing up a mountain, because gravity is not your friend. And you want to make it where it's you pack your pack, and there's a lot of videos out there on how to pack your pack. So if you're getting ready to go out there, whether it's a week, and it makes no difference. So these suggestions we're giving you, it makes no difference whether you're going for a weekend or where you're going for 6 months.
Absolutely.
It's all relevant to whether you're going to be out there for 2 days, you're going to be out there for 100 days. It makes no difference. So learn how to pack your pack and where weight distribution goes. We're learning a lot about weight distribution now with our 28-foot Airstream. It's important.
It's a little different.
It's a little different, but it's still the science is really the same, really, if you think about it, right?
Yeah. So I guess the point is again, if you don't have a good fitting pack, you're going to feel it. If you don't have your weight distributed properly in your pack, it's going to be very noticeable to you, and you're going to start feeling a lot more weight on your shoulders.
Even though
you're going to start feeling back pain.
It feels like it's heavy because of gravity.
Exactly. So that is tip number 3. Tip number 4, test your gear.
Yeah, this is huge.
It may seem so simple, but I will tell you, 90% of the people that actually buy new gear go out and test it on the trail on their very first backpacking trip. So for the love of God, please don't do that. Don't be one of those people. Whether you're buying used gear, whether you're buying new gear, things do not go as you imagine them to go out in the wilderness. That is just number 1 rule of thumb.
And gear fails.
Gear does fail. And so what you imagine is going to happen, you're going to be setting up your tent and the sun is going down and it's all nice. Well, that's not going to happen. You're actually going to be setting up your tent in pouring rain. And if you don't know how to set your tent up,
wet.
You're going to be soaking wet inside and out. So things, just understand that your backpacking trip is not always going to be ideal. It's not always going to be the perfect scenario for setting up. So if you don't know how to use your gear, before you go, you're gonna find that you have gear failure, or you have a missing piece or a missing part,
right. And
you're not gonna be able to set it up.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
Stoves,
and this just
tents.
comes from experience with taking people out, teaching backpacking for over 10 years. I can tell you that when you borrow Uncle Bob's tent, you want to set it up to make sure that it doesn't leak.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
a big one that we have seen multiple times.
Leaky tents.
Well, he said it was fine.
Yeah, yeah. So
our suggestion is
test your gear before you go out there. Just set it up in your backyard. Take the garden hose.
Just douse it.
Dash it up. Learn how to use your cooking stove. I think the biggest thing that we learn from other people that we take out is that when people get out to the campsite, they're like, so how do I use my camp stove?
Yeah.
Like how do I, and they really struggle with it. Now remember, that is your, that you're cooking, that's the way you can eat. So that's really important unless you want to eat cold hard macaroni. Yeah. So it's just important to learn how to use all of your gear, and please test it out, practice it, play with it. It's
you're gonna have so much more confidence actually being out there and doing it, because it's not your backyard, it's not your house, it's not your REI that you're going into and testing. You are in the field and everything goes wrong out there. So if you know how to use it, you know how better to equip yourself in any kind of failure. So that is number 4. So number 5, know how to filter your water and know where you're going and what type of filtration system that you actually want. Now, we did a whole show on filtration, so we're not going to go into that. But you do need to know how to use your gear out there. The worst thing you could do is think you're actually filtering your water, and then you're not, and you end up...
Yeah, and there's a lot of different kinds of water filtration systems out there. You have the gravity filtration system. You have... the mini Sawyer. You've got, you've got, whether you want to use a Sterapin or not, and use UV to sterilize your water. There's a lot of different kinds. The important thing is that, water, as Les Stroud once said on Survivor Man, water is an important factor of life. Yeah, we all need water to live. So, so you want to make sure that, you have the ability to get water quickly. You know how to use your water filtration system to where it works best for you. There are good filtration systems out there that work better than others, and again, it's just really learning that gear and getting to know that, so it's easier for you out in the backcountry, because the last thing you want to do is get Giardia. It's like,
I was trying to not say that.
It's a great weight loss program, but you don't want Giardia out there, right?
So I think the other thing is it also goes in conjunction with planning ahead and preparing and knowing where you're going. So if you know your route, you kind of have different scenarios depending on your terrain and where you're going. So you may not see water for a whole day, or you may not see water for a day and a half, depending on where you're going. Or you might actually be crossing stream after stream after stream after stream. So it allows you to go more lightweight, which we love to talk about.
This water filter is good for this situation. This water filter is good for that situation.
Right. And so it definitely helps identify what to use and how to use it, because you got to think, and here's where the math comes in. Does anybody out there know how much 1 liter of water weighs? I'm not going to wait for the comments. So it weighs approximately it weighs approximately 2 pounds, a little bit over. Yeah. But so if you generalize, 1 liter of water weighs 2 pounds, you're adding 2 pounds just by 1 liter. Well, if you're not going to cross a stream for an entire day, or you're not going to get to a water source for an entire day, you may be carrying
6 pounds of water.
6 pounds of water, 6, 8, depending on how you actually drink your water and what environment you're in. So if you think about that, that is an extreme amount of weight. On the flip end, why are you going to carry 4 to 6 pounds of extra weight when you're crossing streams constantly? Right. So I think that is such an important factor to understand, and that again goes to lesson number 1.
Where are you going? How long are you going to be out there? And is weight important to you?
So there you go. Okay, so moving on.
Yep. Okay, so
we did 6 already.
We did 6.
Yeah.
Hang your bear bag. Learn how to practice. And then 7. That's a big one for you, right?
Okay. Treat your blisters, and this is just like a random one that, but it is probably, I wanted it to be number 1. And this is something that I have a lot of passion about, because I have ended up with blisters the size of dollar bills before on the back of my ankles. Treat your blister before you get a blister. And if anybody has ever been in a situation where you've encountered a blister, it is miserably painful to hike for days on end with a blister that is open, and just every move that you make on the trail is just painful, and then you're not going to enjoy your experience. So either you can do 2 things. Treat your feet before you go out there. A lot of people do powders, a lot of people do like Vaseline. None of those have actually worked for me, but I get blisters continuously. Like the back of my feet are like permanently blistered. But the minute you feel
a hot spot.
Now, a hot spot is you feel any rubbing, you feel anything warming up, you
know
feel
something's going on down there.
I mean, I'm telling you, the minute you feel something go, oh, it feels like I might get a blister in like 2 hours. No, guess what? You're getting that blister. So stop immediately. Don't worry about your rhythm. Don't worry about catching up to others. Don't worry about, I'll just do it when there's a convenient spot. Plop right on that ground, right in that mud pile, and fix your feet, because you will regret it if you don't. I'm sorry, I'm preaching, but
no, that's okay, because
so
when you're backpacking, guess what's the most important part
feet.
of your it's not like when you get a flat, you don't drive on a flat tire forever, right? You've got to kind of change it pretty quick. Well, that's the same thing. Your backpack, your feet are your transportation device. if you are limping around the trail and are dragging your left leg,
you're going to be miserable.
It's going to be miserable. And by the way, if you talk to the Great Smoky Mountain National Park Search and Rescue Team, probably the number 1 search and rescues they do are blisters.
Yep.
So that should tell you something, right?
So it's our number 7, but it's really our number 1. Treat your feet. Now, Floyd, hey Floyd, and actually, hey Juan, how are you? I'm glad you got to join us live. Love your feet and show them the most love. Absolutely, you have it. Do not take your feet for granted out there.
No, absolutely. And that kind of goes to the whole thing with backpacking shoes or boots. Again, when we take our students out, we see a lot of people like, I just bought these shoes this weekend and I thought I'd come out here and break them in.
Yeah.
No.
Don't
do that. Break them in a week before your trip.
Oh,
and when
longer.
I mean break them, as long as you can. So if you know you're going to go backpacking like in May, buy your boots in March.
Yeah.
Really. I mean,
you may actually hate them, so it gives you a chance.
It gives you a chance to break them in, and you want to know exactly. The thing is that once you become one with your hiking boots, you know where the sensitive spots are going to be on your feet. Your boots will tell you, right? Yeah. So you can plan, and like there are times I will duct tape the bottom of my feet before I go out backpacking, because I know that's where I get my hot spot all the time.
And mine's the back of my ankle. So.
Yeah, mine's my toenail. I mean, I can't even tell you how many toenails have fallen off my...
All right, moving on.
Too much, too much information.
So, number 8, reduce your weight. Reduce your weight in your pack. And we might actually end up doing an entire show on reduction of weight. But you like to say...
methodically plan everything that you are going to... put in your backpack, and so how do we do that? So the thing that we do before every backpacking trip is, as I'm kind of looking at my gear, I'm looking at what I'm going to bring, I kind of close my eyes and I do like a quick meditation of I'm going out there for the weekend. It's a 2-day backpacking trip, right? Okay, what am I going to eat? What am I wearing? I'm sitting around the campfire. What am I drinking? Am I drinking apple cider? Yeah, we made apple cider. Okay, I need to pack two things. And when you meditate that, you can actually, you know specifically what you need. So you're not packing for the what if. So instead of packing 10 packs of apple cider or packing the whole box of apple cider, right? Well, I'm going to go for 2 nights. I'm going to have maybe 2 cups around the campfire each night. So that's 4 bags. So I'm going to eat this, boom. And then I'm going to want maybe a snack. So you picture yourself, sitting on a log on the trail having lunch. What am I having for lunch? Am I having a snack with my lunch? Am I having something to drink with my lunch? So you kind of mentally go through all of that prep in your mind and then pack your pack. You will be surprised on what you don't put in there because you know. So people that plan for the what if always overpack.
Absolutely.
Especially on the Appalachian Trail when they're getting ready to through hike. Like I tell people, like, dude, there's a town 4 days away from you after you start the trail.
They're carrying 2 weeks.
2 months worth of food.
Yeah.
You're not going into the abyss. You're not. So people overpack. So if you methodically think about where you're going to go, how long you're going to be there, and it's way important to you.
It's so true.
Then you can actually plan your weight. And in backpacking, it's the ounces that make all the difference, not the big weight stuff. It's all the little stuff. So
all the little ounces add up.
First aid,
excess
you
food.
Go through the 10 essentials. What do I need with the 10 essentials? Where can I get those? How can I make those work for me? And do I need a copper whistle that my grandfather gave me? No, probably not. You can use a plastic whistle.
Yeah. But it really does. All the little ounces add up to pounds, and pounds add up to excess weight. So actually, I like this. We're adding an 8.2 piece of advice.
What's that?
Is practice really thinking of yourself out there.
Yeah.
Like visually force yourself.
It's all mental.
It is all mental.
It's all mental.
Force yourself to think about how you're doing each step and envision yourself out there. And that'll help reduce all those little ounces.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of them.
Absolutely. At one point in time, your trail name was Snack Girl.
Yeah.
I mean, Ariane would bring a whole separate food bag full of snacks. Do you really need the whole bag of Werther candies? No.
I
maybe
don't
4
anymore.
or 5 for So
these pieces of advice are coming from experience, by the way.
Right. You just don't need. You'll be surprised what you don't need out on the trail. So now
Floyd says less is so much more, and that is
absolutely.
So much true.
Yeah.
So number 9, here's a big one. Don't forget to clean your gear when you get home.
Yeah. Hugely important.
Huge. People forget about it. You get lazy, you're tired after you come home from a long trip. You just throw yourself off to the side, or you leave it in your pack, or you don't actually unpack your pack, or you don't dry out your tent. Well, guess what? If you don't do these things, you're going to get mold all over your gear.
And it ruins your gear.
It does. Unpack your sleeping bag. Your sleeping bag is not meant to be contained when it's not in use. It needs to
Especially a down sleeping bag. Right?
Yeah, exactly. I guess that over synthetic.
Right.
But unpack your gear, clean it. Big thing. Don't forget to clean your water filtration system.
Yeah, backflush your water.
That is key.
Yeah, if you want your water filtration system to last, when you get home, that's one of the first pieces of gear that you need to clean and backflush that, because there's all kinds of little granules and little sandy things in creeks and streams, and they get clogged. And if you leave that water filter, if you don't backflush it and it dries in there,
you're gonna be shit out of luck next time you're gonna.
And it's mold and mildew gets into your water filter. Yeah. You've ever sucked some water out of an old water filter that wasn't cleaned? You are sucking in mold and mildew, and it tastes terrible, by the way.
So very important. Please do not forget to clean your gear so that you can keep that gear going.
Yep.
For your next big experience.
Yeah, absolutely, hugely important. And because and don't leave your gear out in the sun too. If you're going to dry it, that's one thing. Yeah. But the UV rays will kill rainflies.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Completely
deteriorate. You've got to treat your gear with as much respect as you do your feet.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so last piece of advice, and this is something you're probably not going to read in any book out there. Trust the trail.
Trust the trail.
Yeah.
The trail gives you everything that you need to make your experience exactly what you want it to be. And what do most people go backpacking for? They want to connect to nature, they want to see beautiful things, they want to experience something that normal people don't really get to experience. And one of the ways that you're going to be able to do that is trust it. You know, I mean, we kind of evolved from nature. I mean, you know, we've been out in nature for a long time, and we're here, so it must have worked out for us.
You don't say.
So, you know, trust it. Trust that things are going to be provided for you, and you don't need a lot of gear. Just go out there with a really good, your best piece of gear that you will ever carry out on the, I don't care whether it's hiking, backpacking, I don't care what it is.
Or caving in Floyd's circumstance,
The best piece of gear you will ever carry is a good, positive attitude.
Absolutely.
Because Mother Nature doesn't care about your weekend plans.
I think she's actually out to ruin it for you.
She doesn't care. So going out there with a really good attitude when it doesn't go the way you think it's going to go, when you don't get that mountain view because there's fog, or,
which always
or
happens.
it rains profusely on you on the weekend, and never let that stop you from going, but embrace that suck. Embrace, because that's Mother Nature. That's, I mean, we all need water to live, so when it rains, that's kind of a good thing. And so just have a good attitude when you go out there. Trust the trail.
And trusting that things are going to be okay, because you have done, number one, you plan ahead and prepare, and you've done all the others. Know that your experience is going to be amazing, and trusting that, like truly, honestly, trusting it from your gut is going to make your experience just unbelievably perfect, no matter what the circumstance. Mallory joined us.
Hey, Mallory.
Holy crap! Hello, Mallory. Good to see you. We
spent Christmas with Mallory and Sergio at the cabin.
We did, yeah. So I want to read a few comments here because we have some good ones coming in. Juan said he ends up packing stuff that he never ends up using, and I have been there multiple times. My biggest thing were snacks and clothes, and I'm gonna stink anyway, so why am I even worried about putting on a fresh shirt?
There's a time if you're gonna go out long distance backpacking, there's gonna be a line in the sand where deodorant will not work anymore. It just won't work because you're stinking that bad.
Right.
So don't bring it. I mean, you'll go home at some point in time and take a shower and burn your clothes probably. Yeah. But so why we don't even bring it.
So then Tania says she uses a spreadsheet and weighs things out. So
awesome.
Which
good plan and prepare.
Very, very good.
That's awesome.
You know, I tried doing that once. I just don't have the patience for it, but it really does help you, because then you can take from the spreadsheet and say why I need this, or I need this, or I want my weight to fall under a certain level. Yeah. So that's incredible that you can do that. So kudos to you. And then Floyd, Floyd's the caver. We've got to go caving sometimes, by the way, Floyd. Putting together a caving trip, a big caving trip soon. So anyway, we'll talk about that later. But caving has really forced him to go beyond minimal, as you have to think of the space you have to crawl through, and it's influenced by his hiking trips, which is so incredible. Because you're right, you have to squeeze through certain things. You can't be dragging that much weight in there with you. And also, too, the more you realize how little you need out on the trail, the more you go out there and the more you experience what you don't actually need to pack, you become much more minimalist. You become much more lightweight.
And you become much more connected with nature.
Which is the most beautiful part. And we've done a podcast on this exact subject. So, and then Floyd said, Uncle was terrible about drying out the tent. And it was so bad, I set up a hammock and slept outside in the tarp.
Yeah.
I've been there before.
Mildew,
it's disgusting.
I mean, that's number one killer of all gear is mold and mildew.
And then, so Floyd again said, your only goal when you're out on the trail is to get away. So every time it's a successful trip because you're out there to experience. So kudos. Yep. And Mallory, what are you eating for lunch? She said she's on lunch break. So you guys, that is our show.
Thank you so much for coming in today.
Yeah, the top 10 pieces of advice we have for you, for new backpackers, or even if you have experienced backpack for a long time, it's always a good thing to pull back in and remember these simple things. So we enjoyed all of you joining us today. Thank you so much for a good turnout.
Yeah, we are here every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on our Backpacker TV Facebook page. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Backpacker TV, on that. If you're new to backpacking, you can go to our website, thebackpacker.tv, and sign up for our 3 biggest mistakes new backpackers make. And we shoot you 3 videos. So you can kind of watch that and learn from that. And then on February 2nd, mark down on your calendar.
Do not miss this show.
We will be at Mountain Crossings Outfitters on the Appalachian Trail. And Mountain Crossings is the first stop when people attempt their Appalachian Trail through hike. And it's the first place they get to after 38 miles. And they go, oh God, what have I done?
I did not reduce my weight, so I will.
We will be doing a live shakedown with Mountain Crossings. And there will be a lot of hikers there. We will be ripping out their packs, ripping out the stuff in their backpacks and saying, you actually did bring the kitchen sink. That is not good.
That ships home.
So we partner with Mountain Crossings. We cannot wait. That's February 2nd,
so
11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we'll be up in the mountains and we'll be on the Appalachian Trail. So we're going to bring that to you guys.
So
very
don't
excited
miss
about
it.
that.
So, well, anyway, so that's the show. That is a wrap for us. Again, thank you so much for joining in and participating. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
See you next Thursday.
All right. Bye. Guys.